Many thanks for choosing us. 25 people have been arrested for their involvement in last night's riot at Wa. They are part of a group demanding the release of 3 suspects arrested for flogging 2 lovebirds at the Wa Nas Palace. Those 3 will be arraigned before the Wa District Court today. Regional Police Commander DCOP Peter Ndekugri Anabugri says no casualties were recorded except the destruction of the street light by the irate youth.
Reinforcement from where? It was only police, not even a single military man was here. There were no reinforcement, they were all my personnel, drawn from all the units.
So what next? Should they repeat this act?
What next? What are you telling me?
Should the rampage repeat?
Please, don't ask that question to me. I don't want to ask that question. You are part of inciting them, telling me that what if they repeat? Why are you agitating for them to repeat? Let them try it and see what happens.
We'll be going to the Upper West region and speak with Rafiq Salam, our correspondent there for more. But now the Ghana Bar Association has been reacting to this statement. Amnesty International has also been reacting. Let me share excerpts of the statements that both have released. I'll start with the Ghana Bar Association. You have it there on your screens. And it says the attention of the Ghana Bar Association has been drawn to a video in which 2 persons were tied to poles and flogged in the presence of onlookers. According to the narrative accompanying the video, the 2 were being punished for allegedly indulging in sexual acts and recording the said acts on video. The GBA wishes to state that the flogging of the 2 young persons is humiliating, dehumanizing, demeaning, and degrading, and amounts to violation of their fundamental human rights and an attack on their persons. The barbaric act contravenes Article 12(2) and 15(1)(2)(a) and (b) of the Constitution 1992. It says that the dignity of all persons be inviolable. No person shall, whether or not he is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to a torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, any other condition that distracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. That is Article 12(2) for you. Now, the flogging of the young persons is antiquated, backward, barbaric, and abominable, and the GBA condemns same in no uncertain terms. The GBA is therefore calling on the relevant security agencies to arrest all persons involved in the physical abuse of the 2 young persons, investigate the incidents, and ensure that the perpetrators are prosecuted in accordance with law. The GBA takes this opportunity to advise all citizens and all persons living in Ghana to desist from taking the law into their own hands by meting out punishment to people they suspect to have contravened the law and have broken any moral codes of any community. We can now speak with Rafiq Salam, our correspondent in the Upper West region. Rafiq, what led to last night's disturbance between the youth and the police?
Aisha, what actually transpired last night was that, earlier in the day, there were 3 suspects that were arrested by the police. And so the youth in the area, talking about the Irish ones, of course, last night besieged the police station, demanding for the release of these 3 personalities. According to them, they are saying that the 3 personalities that were arrested are not the ones involved in the act, and they shouldn't have been arrested in the first place. But before they went to the police station, they were first at the One House Palace. They pelted stones there. They made a lot of noise, follow on the wall overlord to come out, go to the police station, and then also sought for the release of these three personalities. And so when they were at the police station, they demanded for that, and the police wouldn't. The police refused to grant their wish, and so they started pelting the police with stones. And so the police, in response to that, also fired several warning shots and tear gas, trying to ward off them off from the scene. But the attitude wouldn't budge. So there was a lot of engagement between the two sides for close to about 2 hours until 18 of them were arrested. Out of the 18, 2 of them were females. According to the Upper West Regional Police Commander, DCOP Peter and Abuchi, apart from the arrests that were made, there were no casualties on both sides. The only casualty that they can talk about was the destruction of a public property, which happens to be public street light. And so that's what is currently that's the news in town. And as I talk to you now, I'm just at the police station. You can see several policemen around that area. And then the place is now calm. While the 8 suspects are now being prepared for the court.
Rafik, what can you say of the atmosphere in the area? Has calm returned?
Calm, at least there's only the calm in the one municipality. And as I talk to you now, you can see that the police are vantage points. I can count as many as 30 policemen positioned at various locations of the police station, trying to ward any ROT who may try to come to repeat that act that ensued last night. And so calm virtual has returned to the one municipality after yesterday's storming of the one police station by the ROT. But also, let me also tell you that the youth in what the atmosphere, the youth in what for now are unforgiving of the One House Palace, because they think that the act that they did was something that was started by the One House himself, somewhere around 2021, when that youth group was formed by the One House himself. And so they think that it's something, they think that the One House disassociating himself from that act that was committed at the palace. I think that it's not the best, and they think that the One House to really up his game, to up the ante, and then stop whatever detention that they had.
But we're also hearing that the Wana is the one who instructed that the two be flogged. Can you confirm this?
For now, the Wana at that material moment was not at the palace when the incident occurred. The Wana himself was not at the palace. But I can tell you that on authority that somewhere around 2021, there was this issue of leaked sexual videos in the municipality, having a week passes without us having a leaked sexual videos. And so the Wana or the palace worried about some of these incidents, formed these committees that comprise of the youth and also religious leaders. He urged them to use their pulpit, he urged them to use their sermons to preach against some of these things. And so when that committee was formed, at least somehow about 10, 11 months at least, the situation rather receded. And so they are now not in tandem. They are not really happy about the certain U-turn of the palace trying to dissociate themselves from that particular act. For them, the one was not there to pronounce judgment or sentence, to pronounce the harsh punishment on the two lovebirds. But what actually happened is that it was an initiative that was started by the one himself.
Now, Amnesty International has also reacted to this incident. Let me share extracts of those statements with you. And it says that Amnesty International has taken notice of a video recording making rounds on social media and other online portals of two alleged lovers who were flogged in public at the forecourt of Wana's palace for engaging in a sexual act captured on a viral video. Now, this act of taking the law into our own hands should not be happening in Ghana, where our 1992 Constitution is very clear on Chapter 5, Article 15, 1 and 2, that the dignity of all persons shall be inviolable, and no person shall, whether or not is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to torture, or other cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment. There's no justification whatsoever for such an act of flogging or beating suspects, not even on cultural or religious ground. Anyone who engages in such an act must be punished. These acts, if not checked, will tarnish the human rights records of the country, Ghana. We strongly call on the IGP to use the images in the video to trace, arrest, and prosecute all those who approved, condoned, and participated in the cruel act in clear violation of the fundamental rights of the two people to serve as a deterrent to others who may consider such acts in future. And it is signed by Amnesty International's Ghana Media Engagement. And so, Rafik, if you're still there, right, let's speak with Amnesty International, Samuel Abuchi. He is with the Amnesty International. He's joined us via Zoom. I'm grateful for your time. What does your outfit intend to do to push the police to get the perpetrators and bring them to book? Kindly unmute for me, Mr. Abuchi.
Yes, I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Yes. So we intend to engage the police further, not to only concentrate on the 3 persons that has been arrested already, but I go after the crowd. I mean, all those who witness this flogging, those who were cheering up, those who were beating the 2 people. We think that this is an opportunity for us to set an example that you don't condone this kind of behavior. If I may draw your attention to what happened in Kafaba, where the community looked on when the 90-year-old woman was lynched. These 2 people would have been killed in the same manner. We're just thankful to God that it didn't go beyond just the beating, but the psychological trauma they have suffered will probably live for them forever. And so everybody that witnessed this particular flogging must be arrested. If possible, they should sign a bond never to participate in this kind of activity. And that when they see some of these things happening, they will intervene. They will call those who are engaged in it to order and tell them that this is wrong. This could happen to anybody. And it is what we are expecting the police to do.
Samuel Abuchi, I'm grateful for your time this morning. He is with the Amnesty International. Rafik, if you're still there, yesterday you said that the 2 victims were nowhere to be found. Have you cited them today? All right. So Rafik Salam reported from Upper West region where all of this is unfolding. We'll bring you details and updates as and when we get them. We'll get to the bottom of this on JoyNews. You need to stay here. 9 months since Kisi Ejabeng was sworn into office as special prosecutor, his office does not have a governing board. Mr. Ejabeng took office in August 2021. Section 5 and 6 of the Office of Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, tasked the board to formulate policies for the object of the office, ensure proper and effective performance of the functions of the office, and advise the special prosecutor on the recruitment and selection of various staff, among other duties. JoyNews is learning the absence of the board is frustrating the special prosecutor to recruit and ratify the contract of some contract workers. Let's take you through what you should know about the Office of the Special Prosecutor. 1, the governing board of the office consists of the Special Prosecutor himself, the Deputy Special Prosecutor, 1 representative of the Audit Service, not below the rank of a director nominated by the Auditor General. Then 1 representative of the Ghana Police Service, not below the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, nominated by the IGP. 1 rep of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, not below the rank of Director, nominated by the executive director. One rep of the Financial Intelligence Center, not below the rank of director, nominated by the Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Intelligence Center. One rep of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, not below the rank of 4 directors, nominated by the Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Now, one person with background in intelligence and not below the rank of director, nominated by the Minister responsible for national security, and one other person who is a female representing the anti-corruption civil society organizations. The members of the board shall elect a person other than the special prosecutor or deputy special prosecutor from among their number as chairperson of the board. The president shall appoint the members of the board in accordance with Article 70 of the Constitution. The nominating institutions shall, in making nominations under paragraphs C, D, E, G, H, and I of subsection 1, have regard to A, expertise in corruption matters, B, high moral character and proven integrity, and C, non-partisanship. Now, the board shall, 1, formulate policies necessary for the achievement of the object of the office, B, ensure the proper and effective performance of the functions of the office, C, advise a special prosecutor on the recruitment and selection of the secretary and other senior staff of the office, and D, develop and monitor implementation of a code of conduct for staff of the office, E, facilitate cooperation between the office and relevant national investigative bodies to ensure the proper and effective performance of the functions of the office. And F, advise the special prosecutor on any policy matters that may be referred to the board by the special prosecutor. And 2, the board shall not interfere in the day-to-day functions of the office. My colleague Elton Broby has been monitoring this for us. He joins us with further details in this story. Elton?
Yes, Aisha.
Yes, first, let's see the composition of the board.
Well, just like you mentioned, the board is represented by some institutions. So we have the YOCO, the Ghana Police Service, STRAJ, and then other, identified groups as, captured in the law establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And then the members, once nominated by their institution heads, will then elect a person other than the Special Prosecutor or a Deputy Special Prosecutor among themselves as chairperson of the board. And once this is done, the President is required to undertake the necessary swearing in so that the board can begin to function as effective as they should be. So this is how the board is supposed to look like when finally, functioning as captured in the law establishing the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Are you aware of the institutions identified to have made nominations for consideration?
Yes, information we are taking, but we've been checking our sources, both at the Office of the Special Prosecutor and at the Presidency. What I can say, what we have picked so far, is that these institutions, they've made nominations to the office and to the Presidency. So that has been done. Remember that the current Special Prosecutor was inaugurated or sworn into office 2021 in August. So it's about 9 months now, and these nominations have been done. What is left is for the President to do the swearing in. Now, what I picked is that the office wrote to the Chief of Staff somewhere 4 months ago for this to be done. And as we speak, the swearing in has yet to start. We don't know when that will be done, but that appears to be a major obstacle in terms of the way the Special Prosecutor is expected to function.
But why has it taken long for the swearing in to be done?
I cannot tell. I mean, this is the sole responsibility of the President or any person that he may nominate to do so. So, as we speak, there is no information coming from the Presidency as to the reason this is stalling. But what we do know is that the special prosecutor wrote to the presidency 4 months ago for this to be done, and it hasn't been done. Now, the impact of this is that it is affecting recruitment, because the special prosecutor will need to recruit certain persons to work with. And because of the absence of the board, they are unable to do so, because the board is expected to provide some direction in matters of this nature. So recruitment is stalling. Also, those who are on contracts and there's a need for their contract to be ratified is also not being done. And that is also affecting them. All this because there's no functioning board to supervise the work of the special prosecutor. That aside, there's also an issue of expenditure, budgetary allocation. So there appears to be some challenges, confronting the office of the special prosecutor, which is incumbent on the presidency to resolve. What we've been told is that at the start of the year, when ministries, departments, agencies were asked to submit their budgetary memos to the finance minister to be captured in the 2022 budget, the special prosecutor made a proposal to government to be resourced with at least 1 billion Ghana cedis for its operations in 2022. And what we have picked is that the finance minister in the 2022 budget made an allocation of 170 million Ghana cedis to the office of the special prosecutor. Today is 2nd June, and the information we have picked is that only 10 million cedis has been released to the office of the special prosecutor for its operations. And for them, the money is not adequate and is impacting negatively on the functions of the special prosecutor.
Elton Brobe is my colleague with those details. This is an issue affecting corruption, and we'll monitor and bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. To other stories, Agric Minister Dr. Owusu Afriyie-Akoto says the current fertilizer challenges facing the country will be addressed using local resources. Speaking to journalists after touring the Accra compost plant on Wednesday, Dr. Afriyie-Akoto said the government is partnering with local compost producers to address the shortfall. Samuel Mbura has more.
Ghanaian farmers are currently struggling to access fertilizer on the market, mainly due to the sharp rise in prices and unavailability. The two biggest suppliers of the commodity, Russia and Ukraine, are at war, significantly reducing supplies to Ghana and other countries. Agric Minister Dr. Owusu Afriyie-Akoto says the situation is now at a crisis point.
I'm here on a mission on behalf of the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And the mission signifies the determination of this government to face the global crisis which is now raging in global agriculture in the form of shortages of agricultural inputs and also of food around the globe, which is driving prices well beyond the limits that we have seen in the past few decades. There is indeed a crisis, and this crisis is being fueled first by the COVID-19, which we are just trying to come out, the world is trying to come out, and then in February hit by this unfortunate war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, which has disrupted systems around the world. Here in Ghana, is being manifested by shortage of fertilizer.
The government is currently collaborating with local companies to meet local demands and cut over-reliance on imports. Dr. Afriyie-Akoto has been touring one of such local compost plants owned by the Geospon group of companies. He says 17 more companies have been identified to boost local production of compost.
Any new situation brings new challenges and new opportunities. And the opportunities here that we see, that because of the acute shortage of inorganic fertilizer, we have to look within ourselves to see what we can do to replace, or at least attempt to replace part of the shortage. And that is organic fertilizer. So we got the conclusion that the suppliers, about 18 of them, are capable of making significant contribution to the fertilizer supply market. And of course, the leading one amongst them is Zoomlion.
Chairman of the Geospon group of companies, Dr. Joseph Sion Japon said his outfit is intensifying research into compost production.
The company have set up a fund to have a quality control research so that in all the various regions, wherever the equipment is in operation, the quality will be the same value that will go a long way to support. So we want to humbly announce that we have a fund for research work, and so that most of the officers that will be involved will also have access to the funding to be able to use it to support the system.
Ghana produces over 1 million tons of waste annually, of which organic materials constitute more than 65%, going into drains and causing floods. Perhaps this war in Ukraine is an eye-opener for authorities to effectively manage our waste and protect the environment. Samuel Mbura reporting for JoyNews.
The ministry has also set up an interministerial committee to prevent the smuggling of grains from the country. This follows a JoyNews investigative piece on the smuggling of soybeans to Togo at Chirpani by Ghanaian farmers. According to Dr. Friakoto, the committee drawn from National Security, Trade and Industry and the local government ministries will ensure strict measures are followed to prevent the activities of smugglers.
Now, with these reports, and we had heard other reports before, the government of Ghana has set up an interministerial committee, of which I'm the chairman, made up of the Ministry of Interior, Defense, local government, Trade and Industry, and the rest, and the Ministry of Finance, Customs, and so on, to ensure that these directives are implemented. And by the way, it's not only Ghana. All the West African countries have put a ban. Nigeria, you can't, there's a law, a very strict law saying that you can't, if a foreigner go to a farm gate to buy any produce. And so it's just in response to what is happening. This committee have met, this interministerial committee. We've set up a technical committee, and the reason why we are bringing in the local government ministry is because of the district assemblies. You have to comply. The Ministry of National Security is also involved. So hence, we are going to be very, very strict and not sit at the borders to police the borders, but to go to specific markets where these things they come to buy to ensure that they are prevented from buying. So we are going to see very strict adherence to this new policy of banning, especially now that God permitting, we've had very good rains. The harvest, the new maize is already on the market. Prices are beginning to slide seasonally as we expect it to do. As more harvest comes in, prices always go down. So we are taking these measures in anticipation that the coming harvest will stay in Ghana, not only to feed our people, but also to support the poultry industry to survive and to thrive. So these are the measures that we are taking to implement the policy.
We can now speak with Dr. Charles Nyaba. He is the Programs and Advocacy Manager for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Also on the other line is Thomas Bello, who chairs the Seabin Farmers Association. Let me start with you, Dr. Nyaba. Finally, government says it will use local resources to address the issue of fertilizer challenges. How does this come across to you?
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to yourself, my colleague panelists. And let me also correct you. I am the executive director, not the head of program.
Right. Thanks for the correction.
Yeah. So this has been our position all this while, that we need to take focus on how we'll be able to source inputs within, so that when there are external factors like we are experiencing, we don't really feel it that much. The use of organic material to produce a compost or organic manure comes with a lot of benefits, which has to do with a low cost of production, help on the soil itself, and the quality of the produce that we produce. So it's a welcome idea, and then we encourage the government to actually go every length to ensure that this comes to fruition. Now, we have started using this product, but it also comes with some challenges. So far, the kind of organic fertilizer in the market doesn't really meet the quality standards that farmers need to be able to get the expected yield. And it's something that I hope the government take a serious look at. Since when the minister announced that, I had over 10 organic companies coming to our association to find out whether we are going to buy some of these products. I had the opportunity of taking some of them and introducing them to the farmers. There were a number of occasions that farmers complained about the quality, that previous year they tried some of them and the quality was very low. Those who applied them on vegetables and fruits said that it was okay. But for cereal, there were complaints about those ones. So I think we need to work on the quality and standard to ensure that we actually meet the quality standard. Now, we need to also empower local industries who will be producing this. Because the essence of shifting to organic is not only about reducing costs, but also to create industry and develop our agro-based industry. So I'm looking forward to seeing local companies being engaged and empowered to deliver this. So it's a welcome step, and then we welcome that process.
Mr. Bello, let me ask you this. There's a committee put together, as announced by the minister, to deal with the issue of soybean smuggling. How do you think the committee can do a good job? Hello, Mr. Bello?
Yeah. First and foremost, we are not aware of the committee. First and foremost, we are not aware of the committee. But if a committee has been formed to check smuggling, it's in order. It's in the right direction. It could be late, but better than never. So it will really help the situation that we find ourselves now.
What are your expectations of this committee?
Yeah, our expectation is that the committee will ensure that you visit the sources or the areas where the smuggling are going on. They know them. We have been telling them. They have to visit there, and with the help of JoyNews, a lot of pushes have been made, which are even having positive effect as of now, because it has put fears in these smugglers, and that they are finding excuses to justify their wrongdoing. So this committee have access to information from JoyFM and from read organizations, that the Soya Value Chain Association of Ghana, to give them information. You have people. You have to also visit the local assembly and involve them, because they live with them, they know everything, and they will able to help.
Aside the committee dealing with the issue of smuggling, are there root causes that you think must be addressed as well?
I would say the root cause is greed, because there is no justification for smuggling this thing. First, in the past, I've been in this business for about 20 years. In the past, they were complaining of price, and we told them it's not a price, because we have a limit we can go. We sell our cake to poultry farmers, and they also have to sell their eggs at certain, not above certain prices. So your problem is the yield. And luckily enough, the government came in with planning for food and jobs. They were giving fertilizers, certified seeds, and other inputs at a very subsidized cost. So they have, some of them doubled their access. Some were producing 5 or 6 bags per acre. Now they were able to achieve 10 bags, 11 bags per acre. So the price was no longer a problem. Your production has been increased. And even there's more room for improvement anyway. But because foreigners came in from other countries and offered them high prices, their appetite was warm enough to go and sell them to these people who were offering them high prices. And as a result, the prices have been hiked so much that the poultry farmers cannot afford the feed. So the industry is virtually collapsed.
I'm grateful for your time. Thomas Bello is chairs the Soybean Farmers Association, and Charles Nyaba is he's executive director of the Peasant Farmers Association. Away from that, the price of petrol is expected to increase by more than 7% effective today. The price of diesel and liquefied petroleum gas are expected to remain unchanged. We'll bring you more shortly after this break. The price of petrol is expected to increase by more than 7% effective today. The price of diesel and liquefied petroleum gas are expected to remain unchanged. The 5.49 and 4.13 percentage drops in the prices of diesel and LPG respectively on the international market may not necessarily lead to a reduction at local retail outlets, as most marketers will look to maintain their prices to offset the losses from the depreciation of the cedi, according to energy experts. We can get more on the phone and speak with Duncan Amwa, his Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, to understand the dynamics of price hikes in the petroleum sector. Thanks so much, Duncan. What is accounting for the increase this time round?
Well, Aisha, good morning. Good morning to your viewers. Nothing has really changed. The same dynamics at play. Forex will play a role in there. Again, international market price would also play a role in there in these expected increases. The only thing that should have changed for us as a country to contain these factors is our local strategy or internal strategy, which as at today, we've not been able to put forth rightly. But like I indicated, the very same old factors that have pushed us to where we are continue to drag fuel prices at the pump for Ghanaians.
Mr. Amwa, we understand there's a 5.49 and 4.13 percentage drops in prices of diesel and LPG. Why are we not seeing a drop in price for these products?
I'm certain some of the OMPs might decide, the netting of strategy. Instead of increasing petrol and reducing diesel, they might as well decide, okay, we'd rather take a hit here and take some windfall here to offset whatever differences that we see. But like I indicated, all things being equal, it is likely that quite a good number of them would increase prices for petrol, particularly because that has also gone up almost 8.6% within the window.
But is government's hands that tied? Isn't there anything that government can do to cushion the poor consumer?
We've indicated variously that we need a coherent national strategy of containment. You cannot continue to ground your refinery. The factors at play would not change. The dynamics would not change. You cannot continue to also treat bust your buffer as though it were a private BDC also taking and selling products. When that happens, your safety nets are all effectively down. And so you become what others have referred to as a price taker. Whatever the international market throw out today, you have to pass it on at your pump tomorrow. That is unsustainable considering that we don't have an economy that pays you a dollar rate per the hour. Living conditions do not change as fast every 2 weeks, but fuel pricing, unfortunately, would have to change every 2 weeks because, one, your refinery is still not adding a liter to what we consume, and we have to import everything 100%. Your buffer is also not holding any stock. As I speak with you, you read from the international global players, you get the indication that crude is likely to surge between now and December, even more. Some are predicting 135, 145. Granted, that happens. It means that at the 110th levels pricing we are seeing, pump prices could, double if you are not lucky. What is the strategy? And I think, Aisha, the earlier we treat this as a national crisis that demands immediate attention and dialogue, the better. The strategy has remained the same, and the increases have been sustained. I'm sorry to say, but it looks likely that even in the second window, June, if we don't invent something, quite drastic, we'll continue to increase these prices because the international market remains very volatile as we speak currently.
Duncan Amua is Executive Director of COPEP. I'm grateful for your time this morning. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you business.
Hello and welcome. Let's do business now with me, Beverly Broom. The Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, says the government is partnering with other stakeholders to guide the citizens, especially the young ones, against the dangers of online tools. She says with the continuous expansion of access to voice and data connectivity in rural communities, it's imperative to protect the cyber and digital infrastructure to ensure the safe acquisition of knowledge in national development. She spoke at the National Girls in ICT Day in Ashreswa in the Ahafo region, where 1,000 girls received training. Precious Semevo has more in the following report.
A mentoring session for 1,000 girls from schools in all 6 districts preceded the climax of Girls in ICT in the Ahafo region at Achirensua Secondary School. The initiative, themed Access and Safety, saw participants trained in basic ICT skills and coding, among others. The Ahafo Regional Minister, George Abuchi, thanked the organizers for their investment in preparing the youth, especially girls, to contribute to national development. The Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, said 28 out of the 40 cell sites built from 2017 to 2019 are in the Ahafo region. She said they are on course to meet the target of 2,016 cell sites by the end of 2023 to improve voice and data connectivity.
From November 2020 till today, under the Ghana Rural Telephony and Digital Inclusion Project, we have built 769 cell sites on course to meet our target of 2,016 by the end of next year. That's phase 1 of this project, because we know there are many more communities which are still not covered. And so we are developing the phase 2. We need to develop and grow the digital literacy and skills of all our children to be able to become solution providers and innovators to solve our socioeconomic problems for us and for the general growth of our country.
To ensure safe use of the digital space, the minister called for a partnership with stakeholders to guide and protect, especially the young girls.
We must protect our cyber and digital infrastructure and our nation and citizens' interventions online as well. Unfortunately, ICTs come with risks and opportunities. Programs that provide educational resources online may inadvertently create the means for cyberbullying, pornography, fraudulent and other kinds of online crime. We want to partner parents, guardians, teachers, elders of all faith-based organizations in our communities to help us to guide our young ones on the do's and don'ts in the use of online tools to develop their career paths to contribute to our development.
Away from that, telecom giant MTN has justified proposed final dividend payment of 85 pesos to shareholders. This follows criticism that MTN could have paid more following its sterling financial performance for last year. But speaking to Joy Business after the company's annual general meeting, Chief Executive Selo Madadevo maintained that this is in line with the group's dividend policy.
Yes, it represents over 43% increase from last year or from the year before. And I mean, the way we determine what's adequate in terms of dividend is looking at our cash flow. We also look at our debt covenants and all our obligations to the business to make sure we can still continue to operate with minimal risk in terms of our finances. So for this year, we think 70.6% of our profit after tax is adequate, and that's how we arrived at the 85 pesos that we've given out this time around.
There's still some clarity about this localization that is work in progress. I mean, when are we going to see this being finalized? Because in one breath, you get the understanding that you're doing the share ownership scheme, and that also qualifies as part of this whole localization thing. Whilst there are also shareholders out there who are even pushing for a rights issue and even giving us more. When are we going to see this materialize, all other things being equal?
Sure. I mean, our commitment to government is to complete this process by the end of the year in terms of achieving the targets that we've set. So 25% is a commitment as far as Cancom PLC is concerned. And we made a commitment to the central bank on the more money side, which is a 30% requirement. So our commitment is to get to these two numbers by the end of the year. Of course, we're very close to 25% now, and we're hoping to do that in the coming months, and then the remainder to get to 30% for More Money Limited by the end of the year. So that's the target we're working towards.
That's all for Business Now, but we have more business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is sports.
Time for sports. Michael is here with the very latest.
Hello, Aisha.
I'm proud to be a Ghanaian. For once. What's up?
I mean, everyone is excited, happy. The Black Stars have scored more than 2 goals for the first time since 2017 without conceding a goal.
This one was like Allah.
I mean, watching the first half, you felt it was one of those games whereby you would dominate the game for 90 minutes and the opposition will go on to score 1 goal and the game will end 1-0 against you. But
you know,
our luck came through for us. Not luck, I mean good luck in the sense that we put in the effort to get that luck, and when Kudus opened the score, you just felt like the team was going to go on to grab more goals. Actually, you could have scored more than 3. But
you know, earlier you were skeptical about Thomas Partey not being there and other key players not being there, but they made it happen.
Oh, yeah, and I feel like maybe I should have been maybe a bit confident enough because we actually have enough quality there in the midfield. Tre, Kudus, Baba Idrisu, and other guys. Even Deda also had a good game yesterday. Surprisingly, he didn't play as a winger, he played as a midfielder and put in a good shift. So, I mean, yesterday was a very good performance and the team has everything to be proud of. And Otto Addo has won Ghana. This was the first time we won a game in like 7 matches. And all of that. So yeah, it was a good performance yesterday.
So this puts Ghana where?
We are top of Group E. 2023 AFCON qualifiers, and we'll be playing against Central African Republic on Sunday, I think 1 p.m. So yeah.
I just I pray that they keep this pace. They shouldn't go and disgrace us.
We also had the beaten scorers, Afena Jan and Osman Bukhari. They played very well yesterday.
All right.
So
all the best to the Black Stars.
Yeah, all the best to them.
In their next game.
Yeah, on Sunday.
We'll be here supporting you all the way. Thank you.
Yeah, but before I go, let me just say this, drop this quickly. The NBA Championship Final will be starting at dawn 1 a.m. Celtics versus the Warriors. Udbo has the chance to become just the 6th manager to win the NBA championship in his first season. He's done with the Celtics, and surprisingly, before getting the Celtics job, he was passed by some other teams like the Raptors and the Pacers, who I'm sure they will be like, oh, we should have really taken this guy when he presented himself. But yeah, when he presented himself, and Celtics will have the chance to win their 18th NBA championship title, which will break the tie they have with Lakers, 17 titles in all. So yeah, we have some good games coming up on Sunday and at dawn here for the NBA.
We'll see how it goes. That'll be it for sports, and that'll be it for News Desk. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more news there and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.